Would you guys ever miss a game for you, Vaughn, or your favorite teams in a championship moment for a sporting event for you, Dre, and me, while your baby's getting born? Or what moment would make you pause and say, I got to think about that?
I don't know if there is a moment. I mean, considering that the Dolphins have never even won a playoff game in my lifetime. Well, they did when I was like 4 years old. But even if they made the Super Bowl, I cannot justify that to my girl saying, yeah babe, I know we're having the kid, but I got to go watch the Dolphins Super Bowl. Like,
even if you had Super Bowl tickets?
Nah, I'm going to have to sell them.
Oh. You're a good man. You're a good man.
Bro, I don't know. As much as that would mean like so much considering that I've never even witnessed it, bro, that's an auto divorce. I feel like I'm canceled. For you, it's different because like it's your job.
Right.
That's just me as like a fan.
If I'm a fan, like
I don't know how you can justify
I'm like,
that.
babe, push.
That's a great point.
Yeah, I'm watching it. I'm watching it in the room for sure.
I'm locked in.
1,000%.
Yeah. I think that there's a lot of layers in this.
They let me down, man. My Ducks let me down.
I'm rooting for him considering everything that he went through this year.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Breaking House Rules. I'm happy to be back. I am one of your hosts, Jevon Holland. I'm here with Dre, Cam. Fellas, how we feeling?
Great, man. Great, man. End of the regular season, started the playoffs, transition to things. Obviously, the season's over for the Fins, but I feel refreshed in this new year. I might bend on the corner.
Bro,
that shit blew up.
It blew, and it took me back to like when I was a kid, like just the old, big, baggy, tall tees, Air Forces, and it was really fire. And what's fire about it though is that it's like really blown up though, like
blown up, bro.
Like he's on Rolling Loud. Like he's
Ball brothers. First of all, LeVar was right. All them
shout
brothers.
Out LeVar.
Shout out to LeVar Ball.
Shout out LeVar.
All them brothers hit it. It brought me back to like 106 in Park, like really bangers. I might been on a quarter swerve. Whoa.
Nah, it was fire. It was fire. What's cool about it is like I just seen something that said he's gonna be in Rolling Loud, like one song.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like
that's dope.
But everybody's playing it. We were at Poppy Steak last night for rookie dinner. They bring out those gold cases and everybody's oh. They playing that, so we gonna swerve around that corner. Oh. So it's just it's cool to see that. It's cool to see Lonzo Ball had posted something on his story after the Bulls got a dub and they playing another song that sounded like a banger. So he might have a couple in the Rolodex that he's about to drop. So it's dope though, man. It's dope to see him just drop some classic music.
And Lonzo wrote the lyrics. That
song,
right?
Lonzo wrote the lyrics. That's why they call it Ball Brothers.
Right.
Swerve been on the corner. Whoa, So it's dope. Yeah. Have y'all played in the locker room yet?
We played in the locker room after the game.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's dope.
We played in the locker room before the game, after the game, in practice. I was listening to it on the field while I was warming it up.
Yeah, it's catchy, bro. It's catchy. So yeah, welcome to Breaking House Rules, episode 13 for us. As you see, we have a little fun, talk a little sports, talk a little life, talk a little rap music. So we're gonna talk a bunch this week. Preview the playoffs, preview college football, happenings across social media and the landscape. But first, let's start it with sort of the main topic of the week and the end of the Dolphin season and the happenings, all that happened there. First for you, Vaughn, your season's over. You're heading into a position where you're a free agent.
Right.
How do you feel about moving forward, the end of the year?
I feel good, man. I'm in a good place. I think this year definitely added a lot of clarity for me. And I mean, just in terms of calendar year, I mean, it was the first time that I've ever dealt with any type of injury. Last year towards what was that, Black Friday?
Yeah.
And then all the way up until this point, this year, I broke my hand, sprained my knee, little ankle, like just, little small dunks and, bumps and bruises here and there that I had to overcome that just continued to help me, build as a person, build as an athlete, as a professional, and take care of my body. I think that was something that I needed to go through, and being able to end the year, relatively healthy and able to, walk out feeling good and with a clear mind. I'm really thankful to be in this position I am now, because now it's just, it's about what I've done, and I'm going to be put in a position wherever that may be to be successful. So, I hired, my agents, David Mogetta, Cal McCarthy, for a reason.
Yeah.
There's two of the best in the business, and I love where I'm at, and I love the position I'm in, and I'm looking forward to, whatever the future holds. So I'm feeling good, man. I really am.
I know it's your first free agency, so you obviously don't have that experience because you haven't done it yet. But maybe, Cam, you could speak to him even more. But what is the free agency process look like? Obviously, season's over now, but what does that process look like?
Well, I've never made any NFL
No, I know
money,
you
so-
don't know, but you cover it.
I wish. No. So yeah, like essentially how it works is, as he mentioned, Mulligetta, his agent has made tremendous money. First billion-dollar agent last year, made a lot of money. So he's got a good guy representing him and giving him advice on how you handle that.
Yeah.
But the Dolphins have his rights through until free agency. They got to decide: do we want to offer him a contract extension? Do you want to franchise tag him, which is essentially giving him a 1-year deal at like top 5 money for safety? Or do you want to let him hit free agency? And when he hits free agency, he can negotiate with all 31 teams, and then he and his people can make a decision. Do you where you want to go? So definitely in a couple month period of limbo, and then you'll see how it looks. So Von has been a really good safety throughout his career, and obviously he had injuries this year, but he's balled out. So he set himself up well for other teams. I've already talked to people on other teams who have kind of jokingly told me, hey, tell Von to wait till free agency. Chill out. We want to come after him. So he's certainly going to have interest there. Personally, I'd love for you to stay here so we can still do this in Miami. But, you got to do what's best for you and your situation, right?
Yeah, definitely.
We'll hit the links wherever you go.
Yeah.
I'm hitting the links wherever I go. No cap. We're definitely going to take that in consideration. Nah, but yeah, man. For the time being.
Florida golf is the best golf.
Florida golf is the best golf. For the time being,
I
bro,
know.
I'm gonna just be chilling on the golf course, playing video games. Shout out Marvel's Rivals and beyond that. But yeah, bro, I'm gonna be kicking it, bro, working out and whatnot. But yeah, it's a good start to 2025.
Yeah. So I guess most people will want to know, just, do you want to be back?
Yeah, I do. But I'm also open to, the possibility of being somewhere else. Like I'm not necessarily, I wouldn't hate the idea of coming back. I wouldn't hate the idea of leaving. I'm kind of just, it almost feels like I'm back, preparing for the draft again, kind of thing. Like wherever life takes me is where life takes me. And I'm going to be put in the position that, God wants me to go. And I can't control anything else. I had posted some that Kyrie had said, in an interview or whatnot, but he was basically like, hey, I'm gonna control the things I can control, and everything else I'm gonna let the universe take care of. And so that's basically my mindset right now. That's why I'm really not stressing about anything. Like whatever ends up happening is gonna happen for a reason, and that's exactly where I'm supposed to be at. So.
Yeah, and I love this experience for you. Like I said, I love for you to be back here, but like the NFL is different in really all sports because you get drafted to a team that you don't get to choose. Early on, they choose you. So this will be his first chance. He gets to choose in a sense where he gets to go. So that'll be a cool experience for you to be able to like actually go about, you doing the decision making, kind of like what you did in college versus the other way around.
Yeah,
so,
no doubt.
But yeah, no, it's I will say this one thing, and I know Von can't say a ton here in free agency. I think people don't realize what they have until it's gone.
Oh, 1,000%.
And I think that this year, obviously, the season didn't go as well as you wanted. You had some injuries. You had some criticism from fans and whatnot. But I've seen you at your peak, and I think that you just be careful what you wish for fans who say, hey, they don't care if he leaves. I think that, my personal opinion is that may be a regret, going forward. So we'll see how it works out, but that's just my personal take on this situation.
The grass is greener where you water it. So
yeah, for sure.
It's gonna be an interesting offseason. Overall.
Yeah, very interesting offseason. And what is an interesting offseason for the Dolphins without a little drama headline to take us into January? And the one this game was Tyreek Hill. After the game, he essentially says, I'm out, bro. I got to consider looking at different options. I want to be out there competitive, essentially saying he wants out. That's half of it. The other half of it was in the fourth quarter of the game. He referenced it in an interview after. He looks up and sees the Chiefs-Broncos score, knows the Dolphins are eliminated, and essentially takes himself out of the game. And so those two elements have been a big talk throughout the week of, does Tyreek want out? What does that mean? How do the Dolphins handle him leaving the game early? And I guess I'll lob that to you guys of just, Von, you being in the locker room, seeing this, Dre, you as a fan, someone who I'm sure supports Tyreek, but seeing this, how do you guys consume, those two elements?
I mean, you have to take into consideration the atmosphere of what the locker room was, especially after that type of game. The Broncos won, so we're out the playoffs. Plus, on top of that, we end up losing the game in sad fashion. So you understand that emotions are high and guys are frustrated, and so I without a doubt can say that I know that he said that in a space that wasn't the best time or place to speak. And he definitely let his emotions get the best of him, because I'm sure if he could go back and change what he said or take it back, he would. But he's gonna stand on what he said, because that's the type of individual he is, and he's gonna address it when he wants to. But I mean, hey, look, like at the end of the day, he said what he said, and it was in a time of stress, and he mentioned that, and you just gotta you got to kind of approach it in that mindset, because that's the type of shit that goes on in the locker room. Like right after the game, people are going to be upset. People are going to be pissed off, especially if we lose, especially if we don't make the playoffs, and our season ends right there. So, high emotion, high stress time, and you just caught him at a bad time.
It's one of those things, though. I agree. I get the whole emotional component to it too. But if it's a guy that's supposed to be a leader in that locker room, making comments like that, it's one of those things. It's like, do you want a guy that's supposed to be a leader in that locker room leading, right? Yeah. Because the whole narrative is like, yeah, maybe things don't always go perfectly as planned, but when they don't, aren't you supposed to be that guy that people kind of like look at and kind of piggyback off, considering you're a veteran? You've been in the playoffs his whole career, right? He's obviously been extremely successful, and he's one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. But in that moment, that's your opportunity to be a leader, and he did the complete opposite of that, right? Mm-hmm. So, at least on my side, speaking as a fan, I'm like, I don't know if I want that guy in the locker room, because he is maybe a little too controversial. Maybe he is too focused on himself in that moment, right? Where that's where you're supposed to kind of disconnect maybe from yourself and really more look at it as like, hey, we didn't get the outcome of what we wanted in the season, but I got to put it upon myself to be like, all right, you know what? We can rally from this. We can use this as motivation, and we'll be back better than ever next year, right? Like, that's the comments you would want out of a leader. Yeah. And we got basically the complete opposite of that.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of layers in this. And I'll first say this, like, Mike McDaniel, Chris Grier had their end of season presser on Tuesday, and Grier says they had a conversation with him, and Tyreek didn't ask him personally for a trade. McDaniel said he had an hour conversation with them and essentially told him it's unacceptable, won't happen in the future. Tyreek took accountability. That's what's said behind the scenes. Right. I'll tell you this, like, people see how you handle your star players, and that's a representation of what's going on in the team. And I think this is a moment Mike McDaniel's got to take control of his team. If this is important to him to have a level of discipline, a level of accountability, I think it's got to happen in this moment. I enjoy Tyreek. Tyreek's a great personality. He's been good to me, but that can't happen. No. You can't leave a game early because I'm not just out here for the vibes. We eliminated. What are we doing? That's essentially what happened. And then you go out there and make the public display that you did. I get it. You're emotional. We've all been emotional in different moments, but I think in that moment he took control of the situation and made it about him. And it's negative for the team. It hurts the team. It hurts you going into the offseason. And I just think that it's a really a season-long question that I've had about this team in regards to discipline, in regards to accountability, in regards to how you handle personalities on this team. And I think it kind of blew up in this moment. And so I think it's a test for Mike McDaniel and Chris Grier going forward. Doesn't mean that I don't know that you necessarily have to trade him away, but I think there has to be some sort of visible accountability. It can't just be, hey, we handled this behind closed doors, because if Tyreek can get away with this, then that sets the standard for everybody else.
So I was going to say, that was exactly what, my next point would be was, based on the whole 2024 season and how we're moving forward, what is something that could happen to, almost give the fans and people out from the outside looking in confidence that, okay, Grier and McDaniel are going to be able to make that stretch in 2025. But I mean, you said it right there, there's got to be some sense of, discipline, standard. You got to kind of, those type of things can't happen from your leaders and from your captains.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, no, I think you made a great point. Go ahead, Drew.
What I guess to add to that point, what is that discipline look like?
I don't know.
That's a great question.
I don't know
I think that's where we're at now.
Right.
That's where the situation is. It's like you don't really know because you're not in that position to make a decision.
Right.
And what are your options?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? How much more can you give, or have you given anything at all? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Right.
I think that's the difficult part about having the top guys make those type of comments is like what type of I don't want to say punishment, but what type of repercussions can happen that won't negatively affect the team.
That's a great point.
In the long run.
Yeah, because there's the extreme, right? We'll trade you. We won't accept this. You're out, right? Some people may compare this. I think it's a little different, but I understand the comparison to what we were talking about earlier in the season. Devon J. Campbell essentially saying he's out, and he got cut and suspended, right? I don't necessarily know that that's the extreme. You're obviously not going to cut Tyreek. He's a valuable player. But I think the trade is obviously the most extreme. You're out of the season, so suspension is not really an option unless you did it for next season.
Right, because you
but to me, that
again.
would be the accountability. Hey, if this was week 14, this happens, we suspend you for a game or two, we dock you for a pay. He makes a lot of money. That pay is significant in that respect. I think those are levels of account, but it has to be something where it's visible. I think the most common thing a team does is say, hey, we're handling it behind closed doors. Well, if your team doesn't know that and the people outside of the building don't know that, then how are we knowing that you're holding people accountable, and how do you set up a situation where it won't just happen again?
Yeah.
And so I think the thing with Tyreek is Tyreek's always going to be Tyreek, and I think his personality is probably what allows him to play free. But at some point, you got to ask yourself, the drama can't outweigh the production. Didn't have a great season this year. Some of it injuries have a factor, but dropped some passes that he should have caught. You got to hold all these accountable. And as Vaughn mentioned, you're a team captain. It's different if you're just one of the guys where, hey, we got to deal with the antics. You're supposed to be one of the leaders of the team, and this is how you represented the team. I just don't think that can be brushed under the rug, and that would be my concern, just hearing what Mike and Chris said of just like, oh, well, he took accountability. We're moving forward. Okay, what's going to prevent him from doing this next year if you're bounced from the playoffs, right? And so it's going to be interesting to watch going forward. I will say that.
There was something in a clause. Is that real? That because he pulled himself out of the fourth quarter, that he might not be obligated to some compensation.
I see what you're saying there. I think Pro Football Talk brought that up in the suggestion that the Dolphins could go after it. That's a very messy situation.
Yeah.
And typically only you do that if you're cutting ties with somebody, because once you start going after people's guaranteed money,
it kind of becomes a relationship that you can't really
fix.
repair.
Fix.
Okay. And I would say on the flip side of what you said, they could also really focus on, hey, like let's not just have a repercussion or have a punishment for you. Let's try to actually fix this. Let's try to improve you as a character, as an individual, and then we would only know that from the outside looking in as viewers and how he conducts himself, next year and in the next time we see him after the offseason. So I do want to say that as well, because that is also a very real situation where they sit him down, they have a conversation, and they say, hey man, look, if you're going to be this person that we need, which this is year 4 with him, going into year 4 with him. It's going to have to be a difficult conversation, because now you're kind of going against the way that things are that they may have presumed to be. So that would infuse growth from both him, from the organization, to allow everybody to move forward from the situation.
That's a great point. And I think that one thing to note just kind of in this situation, Tyreek has had some really good moments here on and off the field. I think that he has been vocal as a leader at times. So, not saying that he's just been a malcontent the entire time here, but the organization stood by him through some moments throughout his career, off the field with some legal stuff earlier this year when he had to deal with the police. Like, they've stood behind him, and you just hope that, I'm sure from the organization perspective, that you take care of us while we take care of you. And I think in this moment, he didn't take care of them.
They took care of him. They gave him the extension. I mean, they've done everything. I mean, even Mike's been really good with him. I mean, the guy was getting kind of like a soft workload. That was a narrative going around practice. Like, he even said, he's like, I'm not getting enough reps during the week because, I'm doing other things. And then the whole illness thing came out this week. And then there was like a video that he was at the shop. It's like help yourself also, because your team needs you, but you also need to be available. For sure. It doesn't matter who you are.
For sure. And I think that's definitely something going into 2025 for him. And that's a big challenge for Mike McDaniel. Look, he has got a lot of fans because of how personable he is as a coach, what he's done for Tua. He's brings great vibes. He brings positivity and energy. But you can't always be that guy.
Right.
There has to be some times where
It's gotta be a
you know
balance.
you know, for lack of a better expression, you know, sometimes the belt got to come out. You know, the belt got to come out sometimes, and it can't just be when things are too late. Oh,
Yeah.
we're going, because then they're not gonna believe you. Oh, you're not really gonna hit me. You know, I'm gonna say I'm sorry, and then the belt can go away. We all good.
Right.
If the belt doesn't come out, you know, regularly when there's issues, then people are never gonna believe you when you try to put on that discipline hat. And so that would be my thing for Mike going forward. I think that he's really good at a lot of elements of his job, but that's definitely a question for me as he leads this team going forward. Can you get that element going? And I guess last thing on this topic that I asked you, Vaughn, just, you know, one of the best players on the team, Tyreek is, obviously. How do you guys in the locker room, like, address anything with him? Do you feel like that's a role for the players on the team? Like, as he does things, or you just say this is Tyreek being Tyreek? Like, how do you handle this particular situation or others that you may see from him throughout the year?
Yeah, that's a great question, because, and it's a loaded question, because, you know, you have to think about the position that Tyreek's in. He's, you know, one of the highest paid receivers in the league. He's
worthy
of it.
Yes.
Worthy of it. He's, you know, one of our best players on the team, if not the best player on our team.
Yep.
Can change the game in an instant. So what he says and the way he conducts himself, it takes effect on a lot of guys, because a lot of guys look up to him and look to him to, you know, be a guiding light. So as one of the individuals that also has somewhat of influence on the team, it's just about reminding the players around us and in the locker room that if one of us has a fault, or if one of us reveals our human side, or for lack of better terms, just getting him back on track, you know, and not necessarily in a negative way, not yelling or screaming, but just reminding him that, you know, we're all in this same mindset together, and we're all trying to reach the same goal, and we've got to be at our best in order to have a cognitive, you know, idea of what the coach wants us to do and how we can go out there and execute on Sunday. And so if somebody strays offline, or somebody, you know, veers away from the common goal, then it's the job of the other leaders on the group to bring him back with us, because everybody knows that he loves the game, he's passionate about the game, and that's the reason why he has these outbursts and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the job of the other people around you to bring these type of players back with us when they have these sudden outbursts. And it doesn't happen a lot. Like you said, he's had a lot of great times on the team, and he's had you know, a lot of situations where, you know, the team has stood by him, he stood by the team, yada yada yada. So I just think that it's important for everybody to realize that everybody's human, they all make mistakes, and it's the leader's job to bring him back with us, just as it would be his job to bring somebody else back with us if, you know, they stepped out of line or if they veered off course.
That's really good. That's really good. Last topic on the Dolphins. We'll move on after this, and I'll direct this to you, Dre, and Vaughn, you can jump in after if you want. Obviously, the season didn't go the way people wanted. Dolphins make a decision to bring back Mike McDaniel, bring back Chris Grier. Grier talked on Tuesday, essentially said, we know this needs to get fixed. Talked about a few different areas, including Tua knows he needs to stay available for us, you know, do things to protect himself, to make sure that he's available. Talked about getting a better backup quarterback, improving the O-line, all of these different elements. You as a fan, what do you need to see improvement-wise as you saw 2024 going into 2025? What is the one thing where you're like, we've got to get this fixed?
O-line.
O-line?
Yeah.
Okay. Why?
Yeah. I mean, I know it was a huge topic going into this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what are we going to do to spruce up the O-line? What are we going to do to spruce up the O-line? The O-line, when the 5 starters on the field, was pretty respectable. Like, it was a good O-line. We saw Tua had time. The running game was great. But the moment guys started going down, it was a disaster, right? And it's a lot of moving parts. I understand that. You got guys moving around. You guys maybe playing positions that they're not used to. But the reality is we got to spruce up the O-line, right? It shouldn't be an offense where Tua's got to get the ball out in 2 seconds, right? You got to let plays develop. Everything's been so time-oriented, and it worked for 7 games last year, maybe 8 games last year. But the moment defenses figured out that Tua's going to get the ball out of his hand in 2 seconds, he's not going to have more time than that. He's not mobile enough to go set up another play. Like, you're going to kill that offense, and that's what we've seen with the way the offense has rolled pretty much all year long. Obviously, when Tua was there, the offense looked better, but even in moments when Tua was on the field, it didn't look the same like it looked in the beginning of last year. So for me, I think O-line's got to be a huge emphasis. Obviously, there's a lot of looming factors. Armstead probably is going to retire. So then, is Patrick Paul going to be able to come in and fill the left tackle spot? Guard is pretty much the main spot that they need to focus on, interior offensive line. And then after that, I mean, I think it's receivers, right? Everyone's been talking about we need a big receiver, right? You have a Waddle and Reek. They're all speed. But do we really have like a big guy that can go and get that ball? And then Campbell was huge for us this year. Obviously, he's going to be gone this year. So how do you supplement what Campbell was able to do this year and bring someone there next to Sealer? I would say those are like the three biggest things. Jordan Brooks, I thought, had a great year. Dotson had a great year when he came in. So I think we got good pieces around this team. Obviously, hopefully bringing a guy back like Vaughn would help a lot too. But there's clearly, obviously, a lot of needs, but I think the biggest need, which even I thought was the biggest need going into last year, is the offensive line. And then from there, you kind of can fill some of those other holes.
Got you. Okay. I guess for you, Vaughn, and it'll be a little different on your side because you're a player, but like if you're saying, hey, if we had one thing we were better at in 2024 that may have made a difference for us in a playoff race, what do you think that maybe the one thing as a team?
I think it was just an unfortunate timing of injuries, really. Yeah. I think Tua being hurt for those games really hurt us because, it was a tough game against the Bills the first time. And then, it was towards the end of the game that he got hurt. So we were already in a position where, they had we had a bunch of turnovers and whatnot, and there was picks, and we were getting whooped, and it was Thursday night or something like that. And then boom, Tua got hurt. So then it was coming off of a loss, Tua got hurt, and we're like, oh shit. Like
here we go.
Yeah,
again.
You know what I mean? And then we get to Tennessee and then the Seahawks. And so it's just unfortunate events that kept on compiling for us. So I think it was just really it was just very untimely events for us.
Yeah. Tennessee kind of owns us the last couple of years now. I think about it.
Yeah, they beat us in 21.
Bro, it's crazy.
They beat us in Tennessee when we went over there.
Yeah.
And they beat us that Monday night game that kind of knocked us out of the division. And then they beat us again this year. Obviously,
they had a number 1 overall pick. It's crazy.
Damn, bro.
It's crazy. But I think you guys are both on the money. I'm very curious the philosophy and the mindset of this team going forward. It's always been a speed-generated team. At some point, you have to be able to have the physicality in the trenches on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1.
Yeah, we've been terrible on those downs
at times. So that would be my thing, along with some of the discipline elements that we talked about earlier going up. But it's going to be a fun offseason. It's interesting.
It's going to be a crazy offseason.
As Dolphins fans, I feel this angst, like for as Dolphins fans I talk to, I feel this angst of like, we're done. I'm out. I'm doing all this. But just like I've talked about before, that hopium is a dangerous drug, man. You get off of it, your New Year's resolution in January, but free agency hits in March, draft hits in April, and training camp in July, y'all going to be back on that hopium, man.
No, it'll never go away.
We're so back. We're so back.
There's so many times during the season oh my God, we're back.
Yeah.
We're back. We're gonna make the playoffs. I mean, look, with everything that went on to finish 8-9. We should have finished 9-8, whatever. But considering everything that went down, I respect the fight out of the team.
Yep.
Like really, we could have, because it could have gone a completely other way.
It was a great fight to come back.
My God, I think we finished 6-3 in the last 9 games. I know a lot of those games were technically, teams below 500, but that's what you're supposed to do against those teams. So what? You lose those games, and I feel like it's a bigger problem on our hand. I will say this: if we lost that game and the Chiefs won, the climate would have been terrible right now.
For sure. Well, that's enough Dolphins talk. We spent a lot of the first half. I know a lot of Dolphins fans wanted us to do a deep dive there, so we spent a little bit more time there. But Dre,
we got to check in on the gents. How we feeling outside of ball?
I'm sure.
Off season, obviously for you, you still got things kicking for the rest of the year.
Yeah, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I'm upset with the Dolphins because one year I just want a home playoff game or two that I can go to. I'm in Buffalo this week, which I enjoy covering the Bills. No offense to Buffalo and their
what's
people.
What's the weather like over there?
It's 20-something degrees.
Yeah, cold, man.
Snow or no snow?
We never know for Buffalo. The lake effect.
True.
They say it's only going to be a couple inches, but then it ends up being 20 inches.
So how does the lake affect that? What is the?
So essentially, what happens around the stadium? There's like a lake effect snow. So if the precipitation, I'm not a weatherman, so I'm probably butchering this, but from what I understand, if the precipitation hits the wind at the right time, it could grow from an inch to 20 inches just based on the accumulation. And so just based off, it comes off the snow, and there will be areas in the city will get no snow.
Yeah.
And there are other areas that get 2 feet of snow just based off of the direction, the wind, the lake and how it
didn't even know
blows.
that.
So
That's a thing.
yeah, when I was there for the playoffs last year, the Bills had a game against the Steelers. They had a huge blizzard type conditions. At the same time, the Dolphins had the Chiefs game in that negative degree
They
temperature.
ended up moving that game back a day, right?
They moved the Bills game. I know Dolphins fans were upset they didn't get their move, but I understood it because I was in it. It literally felt like a blizzard. Like I took some videos that went viral on social media. I looked like Jon Snow. All the snow's coming on my face and beard. Like I'm like walking through this abyss. It was rough, bro. Like, and that was the lake effect snow. And I always joke, like, you know, when I did my TV hits, my producer saw me, and the second day we could have went inside. They told me, nah, we like the look of the snow on you. It's cool. And I'm like, cool to who? It's cold to me. Right. But yeah, I'm just hoping that we have like not that again. But yeah, that'll be my outlook going into the playoffs. You know, I'll cover it the season through the Super Bowl, and yeah, we're just getting riding. So I'm in a good space. You know, New Year's was good. I've been, you know, trying to get myself right in a lot of different areas. Been on a workout flow, been on a family time flow. So I'm feeling good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man, I'm feeling good too, man. Honestly, I can't complain. Like I said earlier, I'm in a good headspace. Just, you know, the bumps and bruises from the season, like waiting for those to heal up, maybe like a week or two, and then I'm good. Back on the course, just chilling, fishing. Like I'm really gonna just be chill. I have been low key, diving into some like not doomsday, but like bug out bags and like Faraday bags. Just in case some shit jumps off, I gotta be ready. Grab a bag and get up out of here. So, I've been looking into that too. So if anybody's got any info about survival tips, quote unquote, send them to the DMs. Open the DMs back up now that the season's over, so I can, talk to you guys if you guys want to. I can talk shit if you want to. We can talk, friendly.
DMs back open. I know social media got closed for a while.
Yeah, social media was closed for a while. Yeah, I was tripping. So DMs back open. If anybody has any constructive, talks or points or anything you want to talk about, I'm welcoming with open arms. But other than that, man, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Yeah, I'm feeling great.
You traveling anywhere in the
Yeah, I'm going to Oahu. I'm going to Germany for like this camp. Pretty dope. I'm going to Arizona. We're doing like this little like retreat thing. Cali and New York a bunch of times. My family's there. New York's man, his family.
True.
Yeah, but I want to get up to Boca. I mean, we're already in Boca, but I want to play the park in West Palm.
Yeah, that one looks sick. I haven't made it out there.
I heard that's nice. So, a bunch of courses I want to go to. I really want to go to like a PGA event. Like I want to go to an actual. Cool. You know what I'm saying?
Let's do LA.
Like bro, I really want to. And I was talking to some of the homies on the team and like telling them, like, we were just talking about like the players and whatnot. And Max Homa went to Puma and Cobra. Right?
I saw that.
Foot joint Titleist anymore. And I'm talking to them about it, and I like really know the lore behind the sport. Like I'm actually like a fan now, and so it's cool to be able to be an actual fan of like something else other than just like.
It's a perfect transition because football ends and then golf season just started this week.
Just Hideki Matsuyama just threw
35 under.
A heater in a 72.
Broke the record for most birdies in a PGA event, lowest score. I mean,
Colin Morikawa was playing great right behind him, but Hideki's just unstoppable.
You can't keep up
with that. You can't keep up with that. So I've been feeling great, man. I've been feeling great. I really have.
Oh yeah.
How about you?
I'm feeling good too. I'm excited for the new year. A lot of travel to start the year. So travel is like my happy place, just getting out and seeing new places, meeting new people. So excited about that.
You got anywhere you going in specific?
We're going to waste management.
Okay.
So a lot of golf stuff.
Yeah,
so
Phoenix, right?
We're going to Phoenix waste management.
Was it 16th, 17th hole where they go
16's
crazy
the
there?
party hole, the par 3 where I don't know. They're kind of trying to like calm it down a little bit.
Nah, don't do that.
Not a little bit. I mean, bro, last year was mayhem.
Where's waste management?
Scottsdale.
What year? What?
That's February 6th through the 10th.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's right before Super Bowl or Super Bowl week, essentially.
It's right before Super Bowl.
Gotcha.
Well, it's technically it starts that Thursday of Super Bowl week and then goes into that Sunday of Super Bowl week.
Yeah.
So I did waste management a couple years ago when it was in Arizona. That shit was crazy. So the 6th through the 10th.
The week going into Super Bowl Sunday.
That Thursday. And then
when is Super Bowl Sunday? The 12th?
Yeah.
The 11th or something like that. Let me see.
Damn.
Actually, Super Bowl might be the 9th.
No,
the 9th. It's the 9th.
Super Bowl's
it's the 9th.
Oh, it's
the 9th.
Super
Super Bowl's the 9th of February.
6th through the 9th is the tournament date.
Gotcha.
But we'll be there like that Monday. We're gonna do a pod from Waste Management
cool.
at the tournament.
Yeah, I wish I could be there. I'm there for New Orleans for the Super Bowl. So.
Not at TPC Scottsdale, but we'll play out there for sure.
Yeah, because I'm going to Scottsdale the end of February, I think, or the middle of February. And
For Pac.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
Pac. And
yeah.
I'm placing around.
Oh, that's right. I actually talked to a guy from Pac, and he told me to go out there for that.
Chip.
Fuck, what was his name? OG actually is the one that put me
Okay,
in contact
we'll
with
talk
him.
about it.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
No, definitely pull up because that Pac is super dope. Anybody watching that is in the league or not in the league
That's the week
anymore,
after?
That's a week after the Super Bowl.
Okay, yeah,
Pac,
we'll talk about
Karate
it.
Community, super dope organization. They're they're putting a lot together for current and pro athletes. So definitely look into that. But but yeah, man. Look, I don't be I'm really a calm guy, but I be tripping about some shit. This week I'm tripping off of Skip Bayless and the Joy Taylor
Joy, yeah.
allegations. I don't know what to call it. There's some shit going on. Now,
And it dropped in the middle of the games on Sunday.
It's a lot going on. Cam, I know you got some expertise in the breakdown of what, because legality. We don't want to be throwing
yeah.
Go ahead, tell
so
the people
this
what
is
it
definitely a sports media story. As a sports media person, wow, it's definitely a shocker. I'll say that. So I'm not going to get into the full elements here, but obviously a lawsuit came in from a hairdresser from Fox Sports 1 against Skip Bayless, against Joy Taylor, against one of the execs there, alleging some sexual harassment, talking about a lot of sex conversations within the workplace, essentially. And so a lot of legalities there, a lot of allegations there. But what he's talking about, social media, they don't care who you are, what you represent. If content is content for social media,
Absolutely.
and so social media is going crazy about some of the details within that report. I'll say this: I know Joy personally a little bit. She's been good people for me. I don't know. I wasn't in the building, so I don't know exactly what happened. But it's just unfortunate, from a sports media perspective.
It's a lot going on, man. The court documents and the allegations that have presented themselves, people sleeping with people's husbands.
Yeah, no, it's messy.
People chilling, co-hosts, what allegedly. Look, I just know that they got to handle that shit out. They got to hash that shit out. It can't not be true, but the fact that it's coming out at this time, it just seems very untimely with everything going on. I mean, I would love to say more, and I would love to say more about the whole situation, but I don't really know the legal background. I don't want to get
Ancho was in it
trouble
too.
like that. Yeah,
man. Well,
I don't want to get in trouble or nothing like that.
Yeah.
I was gonna say more, but now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, you know what?
Hey, this is Breaking House Rules. This is a topic that I think a lot of people on social media have been buzzing about.
Right.
I think there's certainly a careful nature that we got to be responsible and not accusing people of stuff.
Right.
Of course,
because we weren't there.
Right.
We weren't there.
Right.
We
don't have all the facts.
We see the allegations, but we were not there. And I just think that this thing has been a talk of everything. Like we all have group chats. I'm sure it popped up in everybody's group chat.
Definitely.
Everybody's talking about it. The reality of the situation is, there's a lot that goes on, I'm sure, in behind closed doors for sports media companies, businesses that we just do not see.
Exactly.
And just for this one to become public with such public figures, like Skip Bayless has been, on First Take, on Undisputed. You've seen him arguing, about LeBron or this and that or that. Joy's been on Undisputed and throughout. So, these are public figures we all know, and you seeing them in a different light. It's like, whoa.
Right. These are major names.
Yeah.
That are up there with Stephen A. Smith and Colin Cowherd. Like Skip Bayless is not somebody that you just mentioned and people don't know. Like these are individuals that have a personality that is recognizable. So like you said, to be able to mention that in this type of manner and in this environment and to have this buzzing at this time was not expected.
I don't know if you guys have ever heard about that book about ESPN. It came out in 2011 or something like that. It's These Guys Have Fun, and it was the untold stories of ESPN.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was a lot of that same shit.
Right.
Wow.
You there's a lot that goes on when you see somebody every day for a week. The one thing I'll say about this, and look, like I said, I know Joy. I don't know what happened there. I want for her sake it not to be true. And Skip, I don't know him personally, but you just never want to see people get taken down out of business for something off the field. I I don't necessarily get caught up on like who sleeps with who, but I will say this, like the one thing I hope does not come out of this from like a general perspective, like women have long had to fight the battle of like the idea of they got to a place because of who they were sleeping with, or their looks or that sort of thing. So I don't want these allegations to affect the next woman who's doing great work coming up and trying to make it, because I can already see like a lot of these are jokes, and I think social media, like social media do what social media does. Memes do what memes do. Right. I think like you can't, whether you like it or not. That's the beauty of social media. We love it because of the jokes, the memes. But like the after effect is often like, oh well, you can't make it because we saw the last person who tried to do that. Like I just don't want. There's a lot of talented women, especially Black women, who work their ass off to get to these places, do it off their talent, and I don't want this to loop them in a bucket that they didn't get there off of their own onus.
Yeah, so, I saw some of that on social media too, trying to loop in some other prominent individuals, Black women that have made a name for themselves in the sports media space. So that is a great point. I think that's something that is really important, and women have done hard work to get to where they're at now, and I don't think that this one situation should set them back at all in any way, shape, or form. Just like you wouldn't want that for anybody else in the situation. Mm-hmm. So 100% I agree. That was a great point.
Yeah. You know what else is a great point? Y'all hit it well. Howlin with the Wolfe, and this week I'm howling on a couple of topics. Number one, Patrick Mahomes. Two-time consecutive Super Bowl champion, and 3-time overall. Having his third baby. Good for him and Brittany. But what I really wanted to howl on is he's having the baby Sunday. The Chiefs are having a bye week, so he won't have to miss the game. It makes me wonder, just because it's how my mind goes. Would you guys ever miss a game for you, Vaughn, or your favorite teams in a championship moment for a sporting event for you, Dre, and me, while your baby's getting born? Or what moment would make you pause and say, I got to think about that?
I don't know if there is a moment. I mean, considering that the Dolphins have never even won a playoff game in my lifetime. Well, they did when I was like 4 years old. But even if they made the Super Bowl, I cannot justify that to my girl saying, yeah babe, I know we're having the kid, but I got to go watch the Dolphins Super Bowl. Like,
even if you had Super Bowl tickets?
Nah, I'm going to have to sell them.
Oh. You're a good man.
Bro, I don't know. As much as that would mean like so much, considering that I've never even witnessed it, bro, that's an auto divorce. I feel like I'm canceled. For you, it's different because it's your job.
Right.
That's just me as like a fan.
If I'm a fan, like,
I don't know how you can justify that.
I'm like, babe, push.
That's a great point.
Yeah, I'm watching it. I'm watching it in the room for sure.
I'm locked in.
1,000%.
Yeah. Babe, you good? You good? You good? You know what I'm saying? You need anything?
I'm watching it for sure.
But, I mean, as a player, like, once you get in the playoffs, it's like, yo, we're in the fucking playoffs. Like, if I'm supposed to have a kid at 4 p.m. On Sunday, and we play at 1 p.m., as soon as the game in, I'm out. I got to, hey, coach, like, I got to go.
Right.
But it's my job.
You playing.
I got to play.
You playing.
Because if we lose, because somebody gets bombed deep and it's my backup that's in, and they looking at me like, yo, bro.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah. Job.
Hey, that baby gonna be there when you get back, right?
That baby, I don't know that baby. I never met that baby before. That baby don't know me. Now I'm gonna get to know the baby. We're gonna be cool, but I don't know that baby, man. That baby is foreign to me. So in the words of Bernie Mac, fuck them kids. No, I'm just playing. Not the kids. We love the kids. But nah, man, I'm gonna have to play, bro.
Yeah, that's fair.
I understand that. Yeah. So I think I'm the only one here with the child. I was there for my baby's birth. It was I was working. I would have worked. It was like September when the baby was born, and so I took off. But I'm not playing the game. I'm working the game, so I took off. I would certainly be there in pretty much every situation. But I will say, I've had a first kid already. It's second, third kid.
See? I was going to ask that. Which kid am I having?
Hey, Bree, do not listen to this part. Hey, Layla's here already, I've seen it already. I've seen the process. I know how it goes. Labor can be long sometimes. Like, it can be 16, 18, 20 hours. I don't need to be there for the whole time, right? So, like, if my favorite team is playing in the Super Bowl and I got tickets, the Phillies are in the World Series, if the time works out, we're in a situation where, hey, she's going to go into labor maybe in the morning, early morning.
Time is a factor
The
for sure.
game is at 8 o'clock. I might push it a little bit. If I'm not there for the first couple hours, as long as I'm there for the push, we good, right?
Right.
Or if I'm close,
It's tough.
Like I can make it, but the game.
For you move your girl's delivery to Philly.
Yeah, for sure.
Say, hey babe,
hey, chill
you're
out,
clocking
bro.
in 3 days. We're
Chill
gonna have
out.
the baby in Philly, and then I'm gonna go watch the World Series over there.
No need to do that extra pushing right now. Just be easy.
Right.
All right. Some of these are jokes. Some of these jokes. Don't kill us.
Don't kill us. Don't actually be mad. But I'm pretty sure my pops. I'm pretty sure my pops was with my brother, and they were like going to get like ice cream or something while I was being born.
Yeah.
So I'm not, and I mean, it's my pop, so
that's fair.
I'm not coming out like, yo, why weren't you there when I was born? I didn't know him either. So
right.
He ain't know me.
The baby ain't gonna remember.
I ain't gonna remember.
Like the baby ain't gonna be
between you and
that's just you and your lady.
As long as my wife got like, her best friend there, and her mom, then hey, we good.
For sure.
I'm gonna be there though. Don't Amanda, I'm gonna be there.
Absolutely. So number 2, the other Howlin thing I'm at this week. I was at the Falcons-Panthers game. Falcons had a chance to make it to the playoffs if the Bucs lost and they won. Carolina ended up winning. Panthers have had a great end of the season, and what I really want to howl on is Bryce Young. Got benched early in the season. People essentially gave up on him. He's balled out the last month and a half of the season. Panthers owner told me after the game, he's like, this is a great win. I think we've got our guy at quarterback, which, kind of was a big thing because he has not talked all year. He's got a lot of personality. He can jump off at any different moment and change his mind at different moments. So for him to feel confident about the quarterback was great to see for Panthers fans. But what's interesting for me is Panthers fans have dubbed Bryce Young the Carolina Reaper. And the reason for that is he's got 4 wins. You like that?
That's fire.
He got 4 wins towards the second half of the season. All 4 teams, the Saints, the Giants, the Cardinals, and now the Falcons, either got a coach fired the week after, their starting quarterback was benched, or they got eliminated from the playoffs. And so he's killing teams out there. He doesn't love the name because he said it's a little evil, but I love it. So I'm going to call him the Carolina Reaper. Von's going to call him the Carolina Reaper.
That's fire.
I need your thoughts on that nickname and also the best nickname you guys heard in sports, like for a player.
I love the nickname. I know Bryce Young is kind of like this, like, he's a really good dude.
He's a faithful dude.
Yeah,
he's a God-fearing guy. He's damn, why can I have
getting that nickname
the faithful man,
Right.
But no, I love it. I mean, I'm rooting for him considering everything that he went through this year, and just seeing him kind of come into form is sick to watch.
Yep.
If I'm a Carolina fan, I'm rolling with that name for sure.
That's a fire nickname.
It is.
I'm glad we all agree on that.
That's a fire nickname.
He's the Carolina Reaper
100%.
from now on.
But
I mean, there's been a couple nicknames. First one I think of, Carolina Reaper, but Slim Reaper. I mean,
ooh, KD, right?
Super
That is a
fire.
good
I
one.
don't even think he really like leans into it.
No, he doesn't.
Slim Reaper is tough.
Yeah, that is tough.
Low key, Cater's nickname, Darth Cater,
Cater's fire.
was low key fire. That was the first time I had heard anything like that. I thought Darth Cater was always fire. So Cater, if you're hearing this, lean into the nickname. But and his celebration could have been tough. Like strap somebody and just.
Oh my
like,
god,
that's good.
As a DB,
that's good.
Like you choking somebody out, that would have been tough. So Slim Reaper, Darth Cater, those are 2 fire nicknames that I would have thought were super clean.
I like Big Sexy, who's Bartolo Colon.
Okay, yeah.
That guy braces it, just a big ass dude. You could tell he didn't give a shit. Like just went on the mound, threw. When he came up to bat, he was just taking hacks at the ball.
Yeah.
He had I think a 2 or 3 run home run game as a pitcher. Like he just embraced it, and just like his demeanor and embracing the Big Sexy, I'm like, that guy gets it.
I love it. The big names always vibe me, like Big Poppy with
Big
David
Poppy's
Ortiz,
awesome.
Big Baby was Glenn Davis back in the way. The bigs work.
Yeah.
El Tractorcito is probably my favorite for Derrick Henry. It was like you know this obviously. It's like a tractor, like he runs like a tractor, and it came on a Spanish radio call where they were talking about Derrick Henry in the playoff, like El Tractorcito, El Tractor, and I like it clicked with me. And I just thought, like, hey, this dude is running in a way where, like, the only thing you can use to describe him is this is a tractor running through the middle. And so for a while, that's been my favorite NFL nickname.
Spanish announcers do a good job of just
they're much better than
hype.
us. The energy
hype.
sells you. They're much better than American announcers.
They are.
Let's do this. NFL and college football playoffs are coming on. Bottom 4. I didn't forget, Von, by the way. I need them Pro V1s.
Yeah, they on the way.
I need them Pro V1s.
Yeah.
Ohio State beat Oregon. And so I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. You know, I'm not even an Ohio State fan, but I don't like to go into your misery, but, you know,
that was
I'm not going to say I told you so, but I just felt the energy.
They let me down, man. My Ducks let me down. We were flying high and we got shot down.
Yeah.
Ugly
So let's do this. Let's make game picks, and we'll start with college football since we were just talking about that.
Cool.
2 games this weekend. Or this week.
Yep.
Notre Dame versus Penn State. That'll actually be the Orange Bowl here in South Florida. I may try to pull up to that one.
I'm right in there.
Who do you guys got?
I got Penn State.
Ooh.
I'm going Notre Dame.
Okay. Notre Dame for me. So 2 for Notre Dame. 1
I'm
for
riding
Penn
with
State.
a bunch of Penn State people to the game too.
So is that a bias? Because
it's a little bit of bias
okay.
for sure. I really think Notre Dame obviously could win the game,
It's gonna be an excellent game.
I honestly had them as one of my favorites to win it all. But yeah, there's bias into that pick. That's Penn State.
Gonna be an excellent game. I love Notre Dame's defense. The way Marcus Freeman has those guys playing in the secondary, they're playing excellent ball. You know, keep an eye on one of the young corners, freshman corner Leonard Moore. He's gonna be a top prospect in a couple of years. He can ball out. So they got a lot of really top corners playing. Ryan Clark's son actually plays safety on that team as well.
Oh, for real?
He was with Arizona a while ago.
Yeah, for sure. So he can play. He can play. So they got a lot of talent.
Oh, did Ryan Clark have that kid?
I know, right?
How
We
old
getting
is Ryan
old. We
Clark?
getting old, bro.
Damn.
Ryan, you know, Ryan's old enough to have a
Yeah.
college age son.
Yeah.
He played in the league for a while, so this is his second career. So
Damn.
yeah,
I had a kid
I
that
love
was-
that Notre Dame defense. Second game, Ohio State, Texas. Who y'all got?
Man, look, yeah, see, this is the thing. So me and my agent, we was going back and forth about how Texas was going to lose and whatnot. And I wish Oregon could have played Texas in the playoffs, but unfortunately we couldn't. And Ohio State beat Oregon. Okay, I'm going to go Ohio State because I like Jeremiah Smith and I like the way he plays.
He's sick.
I like their secondary as well, so I'm going to go with Ohio State.
Yeah, give me Ohio State as well. I think I told y'all before, and this is part of why I picked Ohio State over Oregon. I watched them play Tennessee, and I'm like, that's the best team in college football. Just like the way they had turned it up at the end.
They look good.
To me, they're the favorite to win the national championship right
agree.
now. I think Ohio State and Notre Dame will be a fun game. That's the way I look at it. But I think that we got a Texas pick.
Hook 'em.
Hook 'em.
Let's go. I'm riding with Texas. I love Texas. I just
Okay.
love the energy. I went to a game this year. Again, these are all not really picks on
These are just vibes. These are
just
vibes.
vibes.
fanhood.
I feel you.
You know,
I love it.
I want a Penn State
Matthew
Texas
McConaughey,
championship.
cowboy head to toe at every
That's my guy.
game.
Hey,
I
man.
love McConaughey. So
Horns down.
right.
I'm a University of Houston grad,
Yeah,
so
true.
I don't want to see any Texas success. You know, let's get that out of there. All right, so we got our picks for college football. Let's run through the NFL really quickly. We got 6 games this weekend. We'll chart with the inaugural AFC South Bowl. They always play the first game of the playoffs, AFC South. For AFC South, nobody seems to really care. But Chargers at Texans, the first game. CJ Stroud, Justin Herbert.
Let's go Ducks. Justin Herbert. Chargers. Let's do it. Oh, and not just J Herb. Troy Dye, 43 backer. Troy Dye. Great
Yeah.
football player. Love you, man.
Yeah, I guess some Ducks got to win this year, right? Go ahead, Dre.
I like the Chargers considering the Texans don't look good.
What's up with you, bro?
Just taking shots, bro.
I know, right?
That was low. And the Texans. Hold on. I got Ducks on the Texans too. Hold on now. Johnny Johnson on the Texans.
Yeah.
Jamal Hill, my young bull, on the Texans.
But you like
But
the,
you're going to the
you like
Chargers.
the Chargers.
I'm going
Texans
Chargers
better.
though. I'm going
Okay,
Chargers.
okay.
My bad, Maul and Johnny. My bad. Love y'all still, but yeah.
I want to go Chargers too, just because I feel like the Texans are just not playing well. So I'm gonna go Chargers as well.
Yeah, Chargers will make it a 3-peat. Chargers are the hot team right now. The Texans really struggled offensively, especially the second half of the season. I love CJ Stroud, but this year he's not been the same player, and so I think the Chargers go in there and get him.
You know what? Give me Texans.
Okay.
I want Texans.
You want Texas? We got a flip flop here.
Bandwagon.
You're just feeling Texas all around. Huh?
Texas,
You just
yeah,
don't
yeah.
want the logo underneath us to all say Chargers.
I also don't
and then
want.
we get.
I don't want Herbert to win. That's just.
I see it. That's
Right,
a
yeah.
Tua
Why-
fan.
why-
That's a Tua
It's a
Herbert
Tua.
beef that
Oh,
none of
is
the
it really?
quarterbacks are really a part of,
Like
but their
they're
fan
like
bases.
they're both like great guys. Like why?
It has nothing
Why
against
do
Herbert.
fan bases pin
No.
each other? Like what is the?
No.
You know what I'm saying?
I like Herbert. I like the guy. I have nothing against the guy, but I'm gonna ride with my guy Tua. It has nothing to do with Herbert, so I just got to go against him. That's it.
I mean, that's cool, bro. That's cool.
That's it.
I have no idea what the correlation between the two, but
Just let it be.
Whatever
Let it
floats
be.
your boat, bro.
Let
Go
it
ahead,
be,
go
bro.
ahead, go ahead, go
I
ahead.
mean,
All
that's
right.
something.
The night game on Saturday, Steelers at Ravens, third matchup between these two teams in the AFC North. They split the first two matchups. Who y'all got?
I'm gonna go Ravens.
Okay. Ravens. I'll make it a three-peat. The Ravens have played really good defensive ball the last month and a half of the season. Their defense coordinator, Zach Orr, moved Kyle Hamilton back to free safety, and it's really helped their defense play at a different level. And the Steelers have really struggled offensively as of late. So I think the Ravens big in that game. Next Sunday morning game. This is a game I'm going to be at and be very cold. Broncos at Bills. Who y'all got?
I'm going Broncos. Sko Ducks again. Sko Ducks again. And shout out Brandon Jones and P2, PS2.
Yeah.
Yeah, those on PJ as well. PJ Tucker as well. So those are my guys on Broncos. Fuck the
I think that game's gonna be better than people are expecting, but I'm going Buffalo.
Oh, okay.
I hate picking that.
You're rooting for Buffalo.
I'm not rooting for Buffalo.
Hey, bro, we got a Dolphins fan rooting for the Bills right now.
No, I'm just saying you're
Bro,
rooting
I
for
can't get away
Buffalo.
with a pick on this right now. I'm
we just
rooting for the
messing with you.
Broncos. But I think are we picking rooting guide or
I don't know. What are we? Is this
We're picking who's going to win.
Who's gonna win?
Yes.
Okay.
This guy's gonna flip all his picks.
I'm gonna go Broncos. I'm still gonna ride with it.
I'm good.
I said what I said, man.
Hey, I hear you. I
think it'll be a better game than people are expecting.
Yeah,
It's gonna be a good game.
The Broncos defense, Vance Joseph done a really good job with that group. They lead the NFL in sacks. Nick Bonito, Zach Allen getting a lot of ball there. But like you said, the secondary play has been great. Brandon Jones has been a great signing for them there.
Hell yeah.
They're using him in a perfect way. He's getting to roam all over the field, and he's playing great ball.
Yep.
And as you mentioned, PS2 has had a defensive player of the year type of year, and they're playing great defensive ball. I think they'll make it a little difficult for Josh Allen for the first half, and then the Bills win pretty comfortably the rest of the way.
That was low.
So yeah, Bills for me pretty comfortably. Afternoon game, Packers at Eagles.
I'm excited about that one.
What y'all got?
I mean, it's tough to play and win in Philly late in the year like that. I'm gonna go with the Eagles. Saquon in that front has been playing at a high level. Not to mention, they got Smitty and AJ Brown with Jalen Hurts. So
how healthy is Jordan Love? Is he good?
It sounds like he's good. It's a funny bone thing, so it sounds like he'll be good to go.
Is Toyota-thon still going?
Oh, that
who?
I don't know.
Is Toyota-thon still going?
Toyota-thon?
Yeah.
I think it's just for December.
I'm gonna go Pack. I'm gonna go Eagles, man. I'm stick with the Eagles.
That's
If
funny.
Toyota-thon
That was a real niche thing. If people
hey.
don't know that Jordan Love and Toyota-thon unstoppable.
If Toyota-thon was on, I would have went Packers.
Yeah.
I went Packers.
Packers, Eagles comfortably. I think it's actually going to be a lot of comfortable games here. Obviously, you guys know I have a little bit of Philly bias here, but I think that I think they're the better team. First of all, but the Packers. I mentioned this a couple episodes ago. I think the Packers are dangerous, very dangerous because of the style of ball they play. But it definitely has been concerning for me the last few weeks to see how their offense has just not really been in sync. Christian Watson tore his ACL; he's out for the season. So I just don't know if they have enough offense to keep up with Saquon Barkley and AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, and Jalen Hurts. So I think the Philly wins by double digits. Commanders at Bucks.
That's a good one.
This is the Sunday night game. What do y'all got?
I want to see Jaden Daniels go
Me
far,
too.
man. I'm gonna go Commanders.
I like Baker a lot too, but I want to see Jaden pull it off there. I think that'll be sick.
Yeah.
Make it a three-peat. I've covered Jaden a lot. I think he's a heck of a player. I wouldn't be surprised at the end of next year we're talking about Jaden Daniels as a top 5 quarterback in football. I think he's that type of player, and I know it's dangerous because we said the same thing about C.J. Stroud,
Right.
and then he had a not so great year
The
this
sophomore
year.
slump is real.
It is. So I'll be eager to see how he responds. But just like his poise and big moments, he's led a lot of comeback drives, great accuracy. And that Bucks team just did not look like the same bunch last week. Like they really struggled to beat the Saints. They're hot and cold. I think the Commanders get them in Tampa.
Don't sleep though. Another Oregon product, Lucky Irving. Don't sleep.
And he's a baller. He's had a heck of a
He's
year.
a hooper.
Heck of a year. Last one, Vikings at Rams, the Monday night game.
I am always and forever will be Team Andrew Van Ginkel. So go Vikings.
G.
Go
fair.
Vikings.
I'm going Rams.
Rams.
All
The
right.
Rams. I like that.
I think Darnold got exposed last week, and I think they're going to slow him down a ton.
Okay.
And I hope not. I'm rooting for Sam Darnold. I
Yeah.
love that story tremendously, but he didn't look like the same guy that he's looked like all year. And I think the Rams are just going to bring a ton of pressure to Darnold, and I think Stafford's just going to do Stafford things, and I
Yeah.
think they're going to be able to pull it off, especially it's at home.
Yeah.
So that's a factor.
I like that pick. I think to me, this is the most competitive game of the weekend. It can go either
Mm-hmm.
way. I think the difference is Brian Flores and that Vikings defense
Fair.
are going to get after Matthew Stafford. That O-line has had struggles at times, and I think that they're going to just make it a hard day for him. And I think Justin Jefferson's going to have a few big plays down the field. Vikings by a hair. So there we go. Those are our NFL and
Nice
college
slate.
football picks for the week. We will see how they go. Last thing for us before we start to wrap things up, we've talked a lot this year about MVP. Let's give our final picks. MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year.
All right. I'm going to go MVP. I'm going to go Lamar. Offensive Player of the Year. This is a tough one because, you got Jamar Chase, the Triple Crown, but then you also got Saquon, who's going crazy. And then you have the two offensive, MVP candidates. But I'm going to go Saquon. I mean, they're, it's unheard of rushing for 2,000 yards. And then Defensive Player of the Year, I'm going to go PS2. So put it on the DB and get that Defensive Player of the Year.
I love it. What you got, Dre?
MVP. I think it's going to end up being Josh Allen, even though I think Lamar definitely deserves it.
Mm-hmm.
Burrow also deserves it like crazy as well. I mean, he played like great, but it's just not going to go to him. But I got Josh Allen, Offensive Player of the Year. It's got to be Saquon just because of the 2,000 yards, but Jamar Chase, Triple Crown. I don't see how.
Yeah, seriously.
I don't see how he doesn't deserve to win it as well. And then Defensive Player of the Year. I can't believe I'm picking all these Bengals, but Hendrickson.
Trey Hendrickson had a heck of a year.
Yeah.
I will go with Josh Allen as the MVP. Lamar's had an incredible year, better numbers than he had last year. But for me, I'm a narrative guy, of course, in the media. What Josh Allen has had to, deal with roster-wise and scenario-wise is a little bit more adverse than what Lamar has to deal with. You got Derrick Henry there. You got Zay Flowers. Not a knock against Lamar, but he's had a little bit more. Josh Allen's had to do it without a true number one receiver. He's had to do it on a roster where people essentially buried them. And I think that he's done an amazing job taking care of the football, which has been his big Achilles heels all season. And so give me Josh Allen by just a vote or two. I think it'll be the closest MVP vote we've seen in some time. Offensive Player of the Year, Saquon going over 2,000. I think if he got the record, he would have been my MVP. But the Eagles didn't allow him to get it, so he ends up 100 yards short. But going over 2,000 is just such a unique function. Shout out to Jamar Chase. Triple Crown is great, amazing work. But Saquon, what he did in leading that offense was exceptional. Defensive Player of the Year, I'm with Vaughn. Patrick Surtain, too. I love what he's done there. And what I think is cool, which I hope he wins the award, is that he's a true testament for ball watchers, because a lot of times whoever has the most picks is who they go with, or the most sacks. It's usually, okay, well, TJ Watt had 15 sacks. He's the Defensive Player of the Year. Or Myles Garrett or Trey Hendrickson. All those dudes are worthy. PS2 only has 4 picks, but I'll tell you what, if you put on a tape, he is blanketing every single time he's going over there. Jamar Chase, man, he don't want to be on PS2 Island.
Right.
It's amazing to see. So yeah, he's my Defensive Player of the Year as well. So
solid. All right, well, let's wrap it up with some Tranquilo Thoughts. Today we got lead with love. If you're angry at someone, forgive. If you're jealous of someone, support them. If you're scared, go do it. Love conquers all. Love yourself, love your neighbor, love a stranger. When we lead with love, life opens up for us. It's a catalyst to growth and joy. Have yourself a day.
I love that. Another Breakin House Rules. Appreciate y'all for kicking it with us. Subscribe, follow, share. We're going to get into off-season mode. It'll be a little bit more sporadic, but tell us what content y'all want from us, and we'll bring it to y'all.
Hug 'em.
Until next time.